state of being where you're just up to speed, 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 tuned in, tapped in, turned on, feeling good, getting all kinds of advantages from the knowledge of that broader perspective. Which leads us to our favorite new story. This is what your question is. Some of you have heard it. We've been telling it. We're going to give you the full state of condensed, where impactful version. And we think, given what we've just talked about, you're going to hear it. So you create your own reality. You know that? Do you? So how is it that thoughts turn to things anyway? How does that happen? If you create your own reality, then how is it that you're doing it? Can you accept that it's a perceptual thing? Can you accept that it's an energy thing? But how do you turn that into something that's tangible? How do you turn your thoughts into things? How do you get what you're doing? How do you understand the theories that we are presenting here? How do you practice these theories of these universal laws and turn them into real things for yourself? Well, you do it to some degree by trial and error. You have an experience, and if you're able to isolate or identify what the components were of that experience, what the initial thoughts about it were, how it felt as it was moving along, and then ultimately what the manifestation was, which is just the beginning of more. If you can identify those components, how you were feeling as it was moving along, and then how you felt as it manifested, in that understanding, you're going to become an expert at the science of deliberate creation, at being the deliberate creator that you were born to be.
And so, like, okay, Monday, my eyes open. And I know you're talking about leading up to Monday is kind of what sets Monday, but
talking about enjoying Monday, about letting now be full of everything that you're anticipating in Monday. We're talking about not needing to wait till Monday to feel good. We're talking about not needing to wait till the lions show up to be happy.
And this is just like on a day-to-day basis. Like I wake up and like, should I write a list of positive aspects? Should I get a massage? What's the best use of my time?
All right. How do I know what to do? So we start with the premise that you are a counterpart to a non-physical energy. Do you accept that? And do you accept that your inner being is, the epitome is not quite the right word. The extension is not quite the right word. Your inner being is the culmination of all that you have considered to be good or wanted. And you have a relationship. There's a relativity between you and that inner being. Do you sort of get that? So in simple terms, we say to you, your inner being knows who you are and where you are and where you want to be. So your inner being knows in every moment where you are in relationship to everything that you want. Now, the reason that we started with that basis is because the same answer is not the right answer for every person, and it's not even the right answer for you every time you ask the question, because it depends on where you are in relationship to who you really are. So let's say that you've been thinking about something that you want particularly a lot, and you've put an engine down over here, and then you've noticed that it hasn't come yet, so you put one over here, and which makes you want it more, so you put another engine there, which makes you notice that you don't have it yet, which makes you put an engine there. So you've got lots of engines stacked up in opposing directions, and so you're not really going anywhere. And there's a strong dominant resistance going on within you, and your inner being is still calling you. If your inner being wouldn't call you toward what you want, you wouldn't feel the tension of pulling yourself in opposition. But your inner being is not ever going to stop calling you toward what your inner being knows you want, because your inner being has already become it. And so your inner being stands there in the pureness of that becoming, and law of attraction is responding to you having already become it. And so the rest of you has to catch up if you're going to feel good. Does that make sense to you? The rest of you has to catch up. Esther has said to us, Abraham, just let go of it for a minute because I'm tired. Just let go of it because I'm negative and I'm tired. And your happiness about it is hard on me. It really is sort of that way. So now you understand the scenario that we are presenting here. So then you decide that you're going to do something about it. You decide, with all this resistance going, that you're going to start making a list of positive aspects about it. But you're in this negative state of being. So everything you do, even though you don't mean it to be that way, works in contradiction to what you want. Because when you feel off about something, trying to fix it through thought, words, and action always just makes it worse. In other words, that's the time for a nap. That is a time for a massage. That is the time to do something that distracts you from it. Because as long as you're active in this, haven't you seen that about yourself as you get into a debate with someone about anything, or the debate with yourself about anything? This point, an engine this way, an engine this way, an engine this way, an engine this way. And it just gets bigger and louder and bigger and louder and bigger and louder, and it never goes anywhere. Bigger and louder and bigger and louder and bigger and louder. And so the time to do the processes, the time to make more lists of what you want, are the time when you're already moving in the direction of it. In other words, the more you feel like adding clarification and specifics to it, the better. So every subject is two subjects. It's like a stick with wanted on one end and the absence of what is wanted on the other end. And you can tell by the way you feel which end of the stick you are most resonant with in any moment in time. You can tell. If you're ornery, don't work hard on processes. If you're feeling ornery, really do something to distract yourself from that orneriness. You got to get out into a kind of clear space, and things will clear up very fast in time. In the absence of attention to those beliefs that are hindering you, those engines on that contradictory end of your train will just cease to exist. They will just evaporate. You don't have to get a crew together and pick them up and throw them into the ravine. They just will cease to exist if you cease giving attention and energy, if you cease keeping them in their formation by your attention to them, they will go away. So when you go to sleep at night, your momentum stops. All momentum stops. And when you wake up in the morning, that's your best opportunity to choose the thought that feels the best.
What's up, everyone? Hold on a second. Let me just stop sharing my screen. All right, cool. How's everyone doing this Wednesday? I'm super excited to be here again on another Woke Wednesday with you guys. How was everyone's 4th of July? Yes. Mine was amazing. I had an amazing day. For all my Canadians, I think you had Canada Day, so let's go. It was lit. Yeah. Yes. So we came from a huge party weekend, a weekend of, just being with people, being around different energies. And now it's time to kind of come back to our collective and be with ourselves again and really just like get back to our routine, right? So tonight I'm super excited because I have a special guest on the call. And we are going to kind of do this like a podcast, right? We're going to just bop around, feed off each other. I'm super excited. But let's start off the call with dropping something that we're grateful for. For you guys on IG Live, we do this a lot. Drop something that you're grateful for in the chat. I am so happy and grateful now for my health, for my wealth, for my happiness, for every single person on my team, my friends, my family, for the day. Yes, for being healthy, right, and fit, for friends, family, for being able to travel, for just literally being able to take another breath. Let me read some of these here. I'm grateful for my niece, my sister, my cousins, my mom, my dad, for bringing me on this earth so I can be here to flow to you guys. So happy and grateful for the now. I love that. For the path God has been taking me, family, music, life, health. That's amazing. I love you guys so much. I just wanted to say again too, I'm so grateful for you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, Woke Wednesday wouldn't be a thing. And we've been going for a while now. I'm gonna have to do like an anniversary Woke Wednesday soon. I'm super excited. So without further ado, guys, I am super excited because tonight, like I said, I have a special guest on the call. And this is a person who I've met. We probably have known each other for like about 2 years now. I think it's been about 2 years on and off, right? And this individual struck me right away because he is so woke. Not only is he incredibly smart and talented and a sick trader, for those of you who aren't traders on the call, this man is an incredible trader, super super woke, and just the way he speaks is going to stunt you. You are going to be like, oh wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. So guys, let me introduce to you Sebastian. Let's go. I'm gonna pin you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so
Here
much. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you, bro. Just happy and grateful, super happy and grateful to have, been in this experience, to, have had amazing opportunities to meet amazing acquaintances, friends such as yourself, to just be on here and, just speak the mind, So I really appreciate that. And just super happy and grateful for everybody that's here. Like, yo, there's 16 people here, and I understand that, 16 people could be doing a whole bunch of different things, but y'all are taking at least, 30, 40 to an hour of your time just to, be here and just share information and love, vibrate high, and you know how we do it, guys. It's all love.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Like, I've been waiting for you to come on the call for so long, because when I hear you speak, you get me going. Like, you put me on a high vibration. Like, we are definitely not on the same frequency. I feel like you vibrate way higher, but that's a conversation for another time. I kind of want to get the call started by getting everybody to get to know you, get to know who you are, and a little bit about your spiritual journey. So if you could just start off by like introducing yourself and like let us know, like, how did you get to a place where you knew that you believed in something a little bit more than the typical belief systems that people have?
Okay. So guys, my name is like Gina said, Sebastian Garcia. I'm 24 years old. I was born in USA, but I was raised in Canada. My background, my parents are Colombian, so all my life I grew up with like their mindset, right? Their mindset. I've been able to go to school, do the typical university. I did medicine for a year, realized that that really wasn't me. I didn't quite understand what to do at that point in life. I was kind of lost because, all my parents all I knew was go to school, get a job, get a good degree, and try to find a good position in a good company, right? Because that's just, what we're programmed to do, unfortunately, right? We're in a system where they literally make your habits for you without you even realizing that, right? But like I said, like that's something we can go into later. So it was that, and it just came to a place where I had to literally be broken to the max. Like I had to be broken to the max to really understand what I didn't want anymore, right? Because I feel like since I was lost and I didn't really know what was going on, I didn't know what I wanted and I didn't know what I didn't want. Right. So I had to go through certain experiences. I had to pass through certain tests, super happy and grateful that, I was able to pass that and, just keep evolving, growing. And it was, since we're all a transparent family and, I'm just a regular guy, like I'm just a regular dude from Queens, but like my real wake up call was, most of my friends were going to jail. I was I was hanging around the wrong crowd. I was hanging around the wrong crowd. And here's the thing, guys, most of the time is like, we're going through a shitty time in our lives because we put ourselves there. And that's what and at the time, that's what I had chose for myself to go through. Right. I was around the wrong crowd. And most of my friends were going to jail. I actually, I saved myself twice. Right. And I remember the second time, I'm like, yo, like the third time, like there's no third time. Like, that's a wrap. Like, you know what I mean? I told myself, I'm like, yo, it's either like, if I don't straighten up right now, like I'm going to end up like either dead or in jail. And that's not what I wanted. Cause then I started realizing, I'm like, excuse my French, but I was like, fuck, like I'm following family chains. Like I'm still doing family, like, I'm still following these family curses. But at the time I didn't really have the information that I do now. So I didn't quite understand. I was frustrated. Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I had to be broken down to the max, for mostly that didn't know, like I actually did sleep on the street for a while, on the trains. I used to sneak into buildings to sleep. Like it was hard, like, but at the end of the day, I'm so happy and grateful that that was what I needed to get to where I am, because now I know what I do want and I focus on what I want. And, the past is the past. That's why it's the past. And the only thing you can do is just, think about what you want, because that's eventually what you'll become. But yeah, like, that's just like a little bit, about me. Yeah, like that's
I love that. I love that. And it's crazy because we have a similar story. So I don't know, a lot of people do know my story. I'm very, very open about my past, my history. I was a drug addict. I went to jail. I did that whole thing. I was hanging around the wrong crowd. Like I was vibrating extremely, extremely, extremely low. And I didn't even know what that meant at that point. I don't know if any of you can relate, but like when you go to rehabilitation centers or you're, incarcerated, they put you in these groups and these programs and they try to kind of like force God on you. like they literally are like, all right, you need Jesus. Like they try to like force like this God shit on you. And it's like, I, was introduced to the serenity prayer and, that kind of switched up my mindset a little bit. I love that prayer. And it's all about just like being good with accepting like where you are and like knowing that you can't change anything about anything except you. And that was a wake-up call for me. And I took the word God out of it. And that's another conversation too. Like, I grew up not really religious. Like I'm actually Jewish. We went to temple. My mom's side of the family is Catholic. So like I did, celebrate Christmas and all that stuff. But like God was always like what they called it. Right. And like I never really resonated with it. And, all the years that I was getting in trouble and like going through my hardships, I found it really hard to believe in God. Like I didn't really understand like how God could allow certain things to happen. Like, if I went to church or I went to temple or I did all the things that my religion teacher told me to do, like, why am I still like struggling so hard? Like, what am I doing wrong? And, I was introduced to spirituality and just like understanding that you don't have to resonate with a singular God, but just knowing that there's a higher power out there and like a collective conscious that resonated more with me than like feeling like there was like this guy in the sky that like controlled the whole universe. You know what I mean? Just knowing that like I play Abraham all the time and they're a collective consciousness. And what Abraham basically says is that we're an extension of this source energy. And that made so much more sense to me than God. But, just to relate to you, like, a lot of people who are spiritual come from places in their life where they have hit rock bottom and they have nowhere else to go and they don't know what to really believe in. And, I'm just super grateful that I was able to find this path because it's led me to so many amazing things, amazing people. But with that being said, I had a quick question for you. I heard you mention that you were in medicine, like you were going to school for medicine or something of that sort. It's interesting to me. Was being a part of like really learning about the like how we go about medicine, did that have anything to do with like your reasoning why you didn't want to pursue it, like the way your mind works spiritually?
To be honest, the reason, honestly, no, like it was more of, because it's funny that you said that, I went to a Catholic school all my life. Catholic elementary school, Catholic high school. Like, what's up? Like, we went to mass and stuff and all this. So, like, I was very deep into like God and I was very like, I was just unaware of essentially what God really was at the time. And when I went into medicine, it was one to like please my parents, so they could be like, oh, like, my boy, blah, 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 this and the third. And B, like I said, I didn't really know anything, it was more of, at the time, it was my mental health. Like, it was just not it. Cause like, it was always constantly like, always having to be there, not having a life. This, it was honestly just, I guess it wasn't my calling, at this moment, at this present time, it just wasn't my calling.
Yeah, for sure. The only reason I asked that is because like, I was always like extremely unaware as well. This is, we're kind of gonna go off on tangents probably, but that's fine. And I would just listen to what the doctor said. Like if my mom said I needed to get a vaccine, like we got the vaccine. Like if the doctor said that's what we needed, like that's what we needed. If I needed medication for something, like we took it. If I went to a psychiatrist and they gave me medicine, like I took it because I just trusted and believed in what the doctor said, but after becoming more aware, I stopped doing that. So that's why I asked, never stop questioning anything.
I feel like before we continue like this, I feel like we should explain to the people what aware means, because I remember that when I first started, my path, I heard the word aware, and I thought two things: yo, he's crazy, or like, yo, he's just on a different timing. And I just feel like that we should explain that, awareness just basically means that you have 100% control of your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, and that you do not let another person, event, situation, or thing, control the reaction that you're gonna commit, right? So if let's say you have person A who always thinks with emotion, isn't logical, doesn't think, if that's really his reaction or the other person's reaction that he's committing, right? That's usually a person that is unaware or is not emotionally intelligent. We should say that they don't really understand their feelings like that. Then you have person B who has done the work, right? Has done the shadow work, has done all this, has really understood their true feelings, how they feel, who they really are, and they know that they're not going to let a person, place, situation, event, or anything change their state of being, because that's how, because if they change their state of being, that's just the conversation for another day as well. But yeah, I thought we should just clarify that, because I know some people are probably like what do they mean by aware,
for sure. And I also want to just mention, if at any point in time anyone is like, hold on a second, this is a little too deep, because I tend to go off into my flow state and I forget that there's a lot of newer people who are just starting their journey spiritually. So guys, please, if at any moment you have a question, please write it in the chat. I will be more than happy to answer. I'm sure Sebastian will be too. For sure, because this is for everybody. I want everyone to understand what's going on here and really be able to get something out of this. But yeah, just understanding that to be aware is to be alive. Right? To be aware is to be alive. A lot of people walk through life never, ever, ever even understanding what it is to question a societal norm. Or to step outside of their comfort zone, right? And it's so important that we even attempt to step outside of that comfort zone, or to attempt to just question well, why is this that way, or why is this that way, or why do I have to? And I hate to bring it up, but I feel like it's suiting, the whole COVID situation. So many people just went along with what the news said and what their doctor said, and they never questioned a thing the whole time. It's I think a lot of people, this is a time in the universe where a lot of people kind of figured out where they stand within themselves. Because I know, as much as there were those people who didn't question things, there were people who did, and I hope that everyone on their journey just starts to learn and understand that you do have the power to create your own reality and to choose how your life turns out, right? You can respond or react to situations. When you react to situations, you follow in the footsteps of the masses. When you're able to sit back and respond, you can make decisions for yourself. So, Sebastian's definitely a woke person who's an alpha. He definitely makes decisions for himself and is definitely woke and aware. And, there was definitely a topic that we wanted to touch on. I know you said it before, habits. And that's kind of the video that I played, the Abraham video that I played before. And I'll post that in the Telegram chats and in my channel for you guys so you can re-listen to it. But my question for you is how do your habits help you in your life every single day, and how do they correlate with your spirituality?
Before I answer that, I'm gonna ask the public something. Do you guys think that you can predict your own future? Before I answer that question, I need some answers.
Drop a one in the chat.
Do you guys think you can predict your own future? Cool. Okay. I like the answers I'm getting. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, someone put manifestation. Yes. Part of the formula, of course. Right? That's like a side piece of the actual formula. Right? So how do habits, affect my daily life, my daily routine, and same with the spiritual side and anything? Is very crucial. It's important because you have to understand that your habits is what's going to make you, right? Because what you basically what you scale, what you're tracking is where you're going to scale, right? If you have bad habits, guess what? You're going to scale a big as bad habit and you're not going to be where you want, right? If you have the correct habits, right? If you're constantly, first of all, we have to understand that we exist in 3 planes, right? Spiritual, physical, and intellectual, which is like the mental plane, right? So you guys have to understand that you have to feed yourself on all 3 planes. A lot of us, not, many of us on this call are actually, we understand what we are and what we can do, but the masses, you could say, they're not aware, right? The only thing that they're focused on is on the physical plane. And you guys have to understand that we exist in 3 different places. We work like waterfalls, right? If you don't have good habits on all 3, you're not gonna flow, right? You're not gonna flow because if you're not unlocking your chakras, right? Like I know my boy Ayush dropped the question, how do you better your root chakra? Yeah, that the root chakra has to do with self-confidence, fears, right? So how do you better that, bro? Just facing your fears, right? Doing the things that you don't like, right? Because you have to have this alarm in your head. As soon as you're doing something that gives you that, oh nah, I don't want to do it, you have to do it. Because you're breaking not only that, but you're bettering your self-confidence and you're taking that fear away that it's just a mental thing, right? But sorry, like I said, back to habits, right? You guys have to understand that your habits are crucial for everything in life. If you want to have success, if you study any successful person that has 7, 8, 9 figures, that's the first thing they're going to talk about: discipline and habits, right? They're going to say, show me your habits and I can tell you why you're where you're at, right? You have to understand that if I thought going to sleep late was the shit, right? And sometimes I'm still, I still fall to that. But waking up in the morning and getting everything done before the sun comes up, that's the real gangster thing, right? And those are the habits that you have to start, implementing in your life, right? Same thing with meditating, right? If you want to talk about the spiritual side, meditating, praying, affirmations, journaling, however you want to connect to source, right? Because I feel like a lot of people put a stigma on meditating that, if you're not meditating, you're not spiritual, not, right? You guys have to understand that everybody has their own ways to express themselves and release themselves and, have that state of feeling each time, right? But meditating is very important. If you want to live a very tranquil life, you have to meditate. Why? Because meditating isn't about shutting your thoughts, like being in complete silence. No, that's the illusion that everybody has. It's impossible. We can't. We're emotional beings, right? We're always feeling. The whole point of meditation is for you to get your thoughts in order. Because if you have your thoughts in order, guess what? You're going to have everything else in order, right? Because you guys have to understand that it's feeling, thoughts, actions, results. That's a formula. That's a life formula. R.I.P. Bob Proctor, one of the goats.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the goats, right? And he talks about habits. He says, if your habits are not matching, your income, you're not going to be successful. If you're not waking up early, you're not going to see most of your day. You guys have to understand that we have 24 hours. Everybody has the same 24 hours, right? The only difference is that different people use 24 hours differently, right? Most people, spend 10 hours, 12 hours doing nothing. What do successful people do? Because who do you listen to, right? Because you have to listen to the people that have the results that you want. And what do? Because here's the thing that I learned yesterday. I was yesterday at the event, Darwin Chairman 250, right? For anybody that doesn't know that, he's a 7-figure earner, right? Makes bread. I asked him, I was like, yo, how do you manage your time? And you know what he told me? He said, you don't manage time. You manage your activities. He said, you don't manage time. You manage your activities. And the reason why you can't manage time is for 2 things. Time is an illusion, and you're not going to do everything you want to do in 24 hours. So what can you do is you have to start thinking, all right, who do I want to become? What do I have to do? And what habits do I have to pick up? And then you start implementing on that. Like, you know, if you want to have a great sick ass body, guess what? You're going to have to start taking, you know, gym habits, going to the gym, eating healthy, right? Those activities, because you're not going to be able to manage everything. But if you manage your activities on what you want to do and you have a plan to execute, guess what? Eventually it's going to be worth it, right? Because what you track, you can scale. Does that make sense? What you track, you can scale. If you don't track it, how the hell are you going to scale it? If you're going to the gym and you're not tracking your you know your workouts and stuff, or if you're trading and you're not tracking your trades, how are you supposed to know what works and what doesn't work? Even if you're in a business, if you don't have a track of how much expenses you have, how do you know if you're in profit or you're losing money? You guys have to understand that everything is fractal. We're human. The reason it's fractal is because humans are fractal. That's man-made. All that shit is man-made. So of course, everything is fractal.
Can you explain to the people what fractal means?
So fractal basically means a pattern within a pattern. The so example, you guys see, I want everybody to imagine a tree right now. Bow, right? You imagine the tree. Now look at the branches, right? Now, if you look at the branches, you're going to look at the leaves. What's inside the leaves? Little veins, right? Like little branches, right? So you see is that same pattern over and over and over. And it's funny because the more microscopic you go into it, the more you can see that. So everything is fractal, like it's a pattern within a pattern that repeats over and over. For all my traders, right? What we see on the daily time frame is the same thing we see on the 4 hour, what we see on the 4 hour, we see on the 2, 1, etc., right? Mm-hmm. A pattern within a pattern. So yeah, that's my take on why I believe, you know, habits and being on the spiritual side is so important. Jenna, if you definitely want to add, I know you have, you know, a lot of things to say as well. So, you know, definitely, you know, if you want to add, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. That was amazing, by the way. I wanted to let you just like roll with it, but yeah, like even Abraham, like I know I relate so much to Abraham because that's a big part of where my spiritual journey took off, and understanding that source energy side and like where we come from and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But like when it comes to habits, right? And I love that you touched on like that people have such this misconception about meditation. And I've spoken about this before. Like most people literally think that meditation means like you have to sit like with your hands on your thighs and be like in a freaking park somewhere, like with like gongs playing and shit. Like, no, like literally just be with yourself. Just be with yourself. Go get a massage. If going to the gym gets you focused or gets you in that zone, go to the gym. Go for a walk. Just be able to be with yourself and being able to quiet your mind, not quiet your thoughts, but quiet your, and maybe that's the wrong thing to quiet your mind. Quiet your brain activity, your logic, all of your external stuff that comes into your mind. You want to quiet that and you want to sit with yourself, with your inner being, right? Be at rest.
Facts. Your lower self. You want to quiet that lower self.
Yes. Yeah. You want to tap in and be in tune. And it could be a little difficult. And the reason is because we allow our external factors to interfere with our lives so much that we don't understand what it's like to really listen to our heart, listen to our soul, listen to ourselves and be with ourselves, right? That most people can't sit with themselves. That's why we have so much codependency and drug addiction and, you know, things that go on in this world, because most people can't even sit with themselves. If you can't be alone with yourself, you're not going to be able to succeed. Right? That's a huge thing that took me a really long time to understand.
For real. No, you know what?
Being able to be with yourself.
That's important. Like, I think like that's the most important, because a lot of us, we're programmed to, feed those needs with other people. And here's the thing, that we become codependent all the time. And as you become codependent, that's when, things like self-love start not happening, low confidence, not believing in yourself. And that's the worst poison of all. The moment you stop believing in yourself is the moment that you're basically, you're shut off from source. You're shut off from any blessings that you're going to receive. And I just think that that's crucial. Like that's very, very, very crucial.
Yeah. A lot of the time, like so many people say, like you feel like this hole that you're trying to fill, this void, right? And we look for it in external things like external love or drugs or like friendships or whatever it is, and we become compulsive with trying to find something externally to fill the void, when in reality all we need is to have that self-love and be able to sit with ourselves and really just understand like who we are. And that's how you're going to fill that void, not by those external things, right? Yeah. So it's super, super important to have that routine. And I love that when you talk to Darwin, he said that like time isn't like who created the clock where it's like 1 hour, 2 hours, like it logically doesn't even make sense if you think about it.
That's man-made. It's just to track us. That doesn't that's not a thing. Like a clock is just something that people made a lot of money with and we just adopted it. But schools and everything, like, since the indoctrination, because, yada, 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 basically, like, it's just, their clocks is there to track time. Days are there to be tracked. And, the 7 days, by the way, are 7 gods that are, preached and hailed. And it's just, that's definitely for another call. But, you guys need to understand that everything in our system that we see in our eyes, everything has an esoteric meaning behind it. And that's the craziest part, because I would love, here, let me ask the audience something.
Go for it.
How do you, because since we're talking about mindset, habits, how do you change a paradigm? How do you think you change a paradigm? How do you think you change a paradigm, guys? Like how do you think a person gets out of where they're at?
That's a good one.
Like, I just want to answer. There's no right or wrong, right? I just want to see where the people are at. What do they think, right? But how do you change a paradigm? Literally, how do you help somebody, go from point A to point B? Because it's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done, right? Emotional impact, yes. Repetition of information, yes. But here's the thing, even before repetition of information, sometimes people are repeating the wrong information, right? And I would dare to say that, the only reprogrammation, Abby's woke, she knows, right? And the way that you shift the paradigm, guys, is through new information. It's that simple. It's through new information. The way that you change your life is by researching new information. And it's so simple that people complicate it. Right? If a person is literally stressing out or something, all they need is just to know new information. Right? What happens when we're introduced to financial literacy? How does that change a person's life? How does that change a person's thoughts? Like, how does that change their self-confidence, knowing that they can make money and not putting in 40 hours a week?
Mm-hmm.
And once they make the actual money, guess what? Their life got changed. Or, even a person who wants to learn a new skill set, right? That's going to open doors for you. That's going to change your life, right? So the way you shift the paradigm is through new information. And the way you learn that new skill is through repetition of information and listening to people that have the result that you want, and emotional impact as well, right? This is why this world that we're in, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, streams of income, it changes a lot of people because A, there's no information that none of us, that only the 1% has. And B, this is emotionally as fuck. Like, excuse my French, like this is emotional. Like once a person sees that they can withdraw, $5,000, $6,000 off the press of a button, or they can make money just by literally just seeing a screen, that changes, right? So I would really love for you guys to understand that books are essential. Books are essential. Books is where all the secrets are kept. And you guys want to know why we don't like to read? Because they teach us not to read. Because a lot of us, I myself included, when I started, I hated reading. If it wasn't a picture in that book, I wasn't going to touch it. If it wasn't a picture in that book, I was not going to touch that book. I don't care what you told me. When people came out with like paragraphs and books, the first book I ever read was Developing Your Leader 2.0 by Johnny Maxwell. That was the first book I read, and it took me it took me like 7 months. I can't even hold you. It took me like 7 months. But you know what? They say knowledge is power. Bullshit. Knowledge is not power. I know you know what it is. What is it, Jenna?
What? Knowledge is power? What did you say?
No, knowledge is not power. What is power?
Being aware.
Exactly. Applied knowledge. Applied knowledge is power. If you apply what you know, Carla knows that's what's up. If you apply what you know, I promise you, you're gonna change everything on the life. Like, for all my traders here, because I know there's people that know about for all my traders here, bro. Let go of your ego and just listen to people that have the results that you want. Don't be lazy. Track that shit. Track your trades. Because I know that's why most people don't track it because you get lazy. Or just do risk to reward. It's okay if you're only making $5-10 a trade. Like, who cares? It's about the skill set. It's not about the money. Because I can give you $1 million and you don't know the skill set. Guess what? You're gonna blow $1 million. I can give somebody $300 and guess what? If they know the skill set, they're gonna grow it to $1 million. I saw that yesterday with my eyes. I witnessed that. My man's pulled out his phone and he said, "Look, bro, $300," and I turned it to $1 million. And he said, "It's not about the money. It's about the skill set." So it's just everything is perspective. Everything is perspective. Everything is habit, and attitude is important too. If your attitude is right, the facts don't count. If the attitude is right, the facts don't count. Like, if you guys understand, like, I wish all of us had the superpower where we could change our eyes and see the energy. And that's what attitude is. It's an energy field that you throw out. And if your attitude is right, who gives up about the facts? Who cares? 10 out of 10 times, things will always go your way. I bet you there's problems that people have been through in the past that they're probably laughing at right now. And at that time, they thought that they're like, fuck, my life's gonna end. This, and the third. Or, some lost a business, some lost a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. But guess what, like, when your attitude is right, the facts don't count. The attitude is right, the facts don't count because, we're energetic beings. Like this is not us. We are our mind. We are our mind. Like this body is basically just to hold our brains. Think about that. Like this body is basically just to hold this right here. Like this is so important. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if people understood that this is the radio that transmits and receives waves, frequencies, vibrations, whatever the hell you want to call it, blessings, whatever. You would understand that you could tap into whatever frequency you want. And whatever frequency you want wants you. Whatever you want wants you. Whatever you want wants you. So everything is about attitude. Everything is about habits. Everything is about consistency, discipline. But you have to do it because talk is cheap.
And this is what we talked about last week. We talked about law of attraction and how literally we are physical, energetic, vibrational beings. This fingers, like whatever this is, literally particles, and it's not even solid, right? Facts. It's all vibration. It's all frequency, and we can tap into any frequency that we want. We can literally, like when your parents used to tell you when you were a kid, you can be whatever you be. And then you go to school and they tell you, no, you can't. You're too dumb to be a lawyer. Or you're too dumb to be this, or you're never going to amount to nothing. you literally can have any single thing that you want in your mind, you can hold in your hand. And they shy us away from understanding that and knowing that, because it's like the key, right? It's the key. Your imagination, everything up here in your mind, your perception, all of your mental faculties. I see you itching. Like, what do you want to touch on there, Seva?
I want to do an activity with everybody so they understand what you're talking about. Like,
let's do it.
Finish what you're saying, though. Finish what you're saying, because you're going in like,
just law of attraction, guys. Like, literally, if you can see it, you can have it. But we talk about this every single week. So I want you to take the last few minutes for this activity, because I'm with you.
Okay. So I want everybody, if they can, to participate. I got a couple people with me in the room as well. We're definitely going to do this activity. And this activity is going to show you how crazy imagination and how crazy your mind is. Right? So here, everybody get up. Everybody get up. Everybody get up for a minute. Everybody get up. Right? Everybody get up. Right? Everybody take your hand up. Right? And we're gonna try. We're gonna try to go as back as we can, like this. Like, just try to turn around and try to touch as much as you can. As much as you can going back. As much as you can going back. Right? As much as you can. All right. Now what you're gonna do is this. Now you're gonna go back, and now you're gonna close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I want you to imagine going even further. I want you to imagine even going further than you just did right now. Imagine going even further than you just did right now. And I want you to open your eyes and do it. Open your eyes and do it. And you're going to see that you went a lot further than last time.
Dude, what the fuck?
No.
That's crazy.
No. Right? So,
Fucking witchcraft.
right? So, with that being said, that's how powerful your mind is. That's how powerful you thinking it and it becoming into existence is an actual thing. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, yo, this is what I live for. Like, I don't really do network marketing because of the money. Because, like, I do this because this is the truth. This is real shit. Like, this is what really works. Like, if you unlock your brain, you unlock everything to see. Like, yo, once you unlock this, no one can ever tell you what to do, where to go, how to do it, how to stop, right? But you obviously got to start from somewhere, right? And you guys, I'm not gonna go into that right now because I know you guys already took enough time. Maybe on another day, me and Jenna could do another call where we talk about how do you actually tap into, like, how do you actually tap into this? Because guess what? There's two of these guys right here. One of them who's always on, because guess what, guys? Yo, this is always on. And the second one who is basically interpreting whatever is inside, right? So basically subconscious and conscious mind. That's all I'm gonna say. But that was just the activity that I wanted us to do. I don't know if you guys have some ideas or not, but I'm just super grateful that we were able to chop it up. We were just able to, vibe off each other, have an amazing call.
Yo, drop some sevens in the chat for Sebastian. Yo, this man is my hype man. Every single event that I do, I want him to open up the event. I'm like, no, Sebas is opening up the event. This man is hype. He's woke. He gets the crowd going. Like, yo, you went in on this call, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so excited to see where you are going because you are just killing it out here. Guys, if you guys got value from this call, keep dropping those sevens. If you guys have nowhere to be, I'm down to do a little meditation. Do you guys want to meditate?
I'm down.
Meditation. That's what we do at the end here. So I'm just going to throw on a little meditation. It's going to be like 10 minutes. Feel free to hop off if you want. You can stay on for the meditation. This is also on YouTube Live. So you guys can go back to my channel and you can watch the YouTube if you guys missed it. I also have it recorded. So if you guys want the recording, you can go ahead and ask me for the recording. I'm just going to do what I do every single time and literally just go let source give us what we want right here. I don't even look for the meditation beforehand. Sometimes I do it on my own, but I'm not going to do that today. All right. 10-minute guided meditation. Yo, that was an amazing call. I'm super, super stoked about that. All right.
Yeah, that was fire. I'll do that again. Let's meditate though. I'm down. What's up?
Yeah, you're definitely invited back to Woke Wednesday. All right, guys. We're gonna do I like this one, a letting go meditation. So get in a comfortable position, shut off the lights if you guys want, dim the lights, close your eyes, lay down. If you're driving, please don't do this. And here we go.
Welcome to the Daily Calm. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position in a posture that feels relaxed yet alert. Close your eyes, soften your forehead, and let there be a soft smile in the corners of your lips. Now take a few long, deep breaths to relax the mind and body. Take a slow, deep belly breath. Hold it for a moment. And then gently release that breath. And just repeat that pattern a couple of times, taking slow, deep breaths. Allowing any tension you're holding to melt away. Now naturally allow your breathing to become light and easy. Allowing the rise and fall of the breath to happen in its own time, at its own pace. And just following the breath as it flows through you. Following it in, following it out, breath by breath, moment by moment. You might notice thoughts arising as you sit. Thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future, thoughts about something you should have said or done, thoughts about what's for lunch. Don't make an effort to look for thoughts, but when they arise, simply notice them. In particular, notice if they have a charge. Pay attention to whether they trigger emotion of any kind. What we want to do is refrain from getting sucked into the content of our thoughts and emotions. Ideally, we want to view thoughts like water trickling down a stream, letting thoughts come, letting thoughts go, letting emotion come, letting emotion go, not getting caught up in them, simply observing that thoughts are happening without taking them so seriously. Allow everything to come and go like the breath, breath after breath after breath. Now rest your attention, taking a few deep breaths, noticing how it feels to pay attention to thoughts without clinging to them, without taking them personally. And since we're on the theme of relationships this week, see if you can practice not taking things personally in regards to your relationships with others. When we have to deal with difficult people, we sometimes feel attacked. Often other people's behavior isn't about you, it's about them. If we choose to take situations personally, we become offended and reactive because we feel the need to defend our beliefs and conflict intensifies. But if we refuse to take things personally, we can often de escalate our emotional response in any potential conflict. Through the day, as an experiment, try practicing not taking things personally whenever you can. And perhaps now, Make an intention to seal that effort. And as we approach the end of the session, just relax your attention. Come back to the room. Come into your body. Feel it alive. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Calm. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Wow. That was amazing. I hope everybody got an amazing meditation out of that. That literally had me just like aware and being able to like come into myself. And I think that was the whole point of like everything we spoke about today, just like being with yourself and being able to stay in tune. But without me going on and on, thank you guys because we went over the hour. I'm super grateful for you guys for another Woke Wednesday. Thank you so much, Sebastian. We can't wait to have you back on Woke Wednesday. You killed it tonight. I love every single one of you. Have an amazing